So for the past couple of days, we learned how to factor a trinomial, okay, learning the rules and everything. So we're still going to be doing that, but we are going to learn to factor trinomials using a method called slip and slide, okay, and I'll explain where that comes in. And the reason why we need to perform slip and slide is because if I look at example 1, I have a coefficient at the very front where we haven't had a coefficient at the front. And normally, yes, I would look for a GCF, but this one doesn't have a GCF. So if I have a coefficient in front of the x squared, then I need to perform slip and slide before I can factor the trinomial. All slip and slide means is I'm going to slip a, which is that leading coefficient, to the end of the trinomial and multiply by c. So in this case, I would slip 2 to the 3 and do 2 times 3, which is 6. So that way I'm left with x squared plus 5x plus 6. And now it becomes a basic trinomial. Now the slide part comes in later. So this is step 1. We slip the 2 to the 3. And now I'm going to break this up into 2 binomials. Okay, and then I'm going to follow the same rules that we've done the last couple of days. If C is positive, that means these are both going to be positive or both going to be negative. B tells me that they're both going to be positive. Now I figure, read it backwards, I need two numbers that multiply to get 6 but add to get 5. Multiply to get 6 but add to get 5. And the two numbers that come up are 2 times 3. Because 2 times 3 is 6 and 2 plus 3 is 5. Now, it doesn't matter where I put the 2 and the 3 because they're both positive. Now, normally this is where we would stop. But this is a slip and slide. So we can't just pretend that that 2 wasn't there to begin with. So we slip the 2 to the 3. Now here comes the slide part. We are going to slide that 2 back and put it as a denominator under both of these terms right here, okay? And then simplify if I can, like 2 divided by 2 is just positive 1. And then 3 over 2 doesn't simplify. Now, we don't want to leave these as fractions, so here comes the slide part. There is nothing to slide on this one, so it's just x plus 1 because it's simplified. But right here, I'm going to slide the denominator back in front of this x. So this binomial ends up being 2x plus 3. Now, if that went over your head a little, let's do it again. If I look at number 2, there is no GCF. So this is a basic trinomial, but I don't want to have the 5 out in front. So we're going to slip it to the 6. So I have m squared minus 17m. 5 times 6 is positive 30. Now I'm going to do a basic trinomial, which means break it up into 2 binomials. What multiplies to get 30 but adds to get 17? Multiplies to get 30 but adds to get 17. And the two numbers that come up are 15 and 2. Because 15 times 2 is 30 and 15 plus 2 is 17. Now C is positive, so that means they're both going to be positive, both going to be negative. And B tells me that they're going to be negative. It doesn't matter where I put the 15 and the 2 because they're both negative. Now here comes the slide part. I need to bring this 5 back as denominators for both of these terms. Then simplify if I can. Like 15 divided by 3 simplifies, or 15 divided by 5 simplifies to 3. Here though, it does not simplify, so I'm going to leave it. But we don't want to leave them as fractions, so we're going to slide where necessary. So since this is just m minus 3, there's nothing to slide there. But I'm going to slide this 5 over to the m, so it's just 5m minus 2, the slip and slide. So let's keep practicing that skill. So here, there's no GCF, so I'm going to slip the 6 to the 4. So y squared minus 5y, 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. Then it becomes a basic trinomial, so I'm going to break it up into 2 binomials. What multiplies to get 24 but subtracts to get 5? Multiplies to get 24 but subtracts to get 5. And the two that come to mind are 8 and 3. Because 8 times 3 is 24 and 8 minus 3 is 5. Now, since C is negative, that means one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. Since 8 is the bigger number, I have to put 8 with the sign that b is. So since b is negative, 8 goes with the negative. Okay? Now this is still a slip and slide, so I need to bring the 6 back as the denominator. Okay, now both of these fractions simplify. 3/6 simplifies to 1/2. Okay? And 8/6 simplifies to 4/3. And then I'm going to slide. So this 2 is going to slide to the front. So 2y plus 1. And this 3 is going to slide to the front. 3y minus 4. Okay. Again, no GCF. So I'm going to slip the 12 to the 5. So I have c squared plus 11c. 12 times negative 5 is negative 60. Now it becomes a simple trinomial. So I'm going to do 2 binomials. Since c is negative, I know they're going to be different. One's positive, one negative. What multiplies to get 60 but subtracts to get 11? Multiplies to get 60 but subtracts to get 11. Let's see. That one stumped me a little bit. There we go. 15 and 4. That one just doesn't come to me right away. 15 times 4 is 60, and 15 minus 4 is 11. Since 15 is the bigger number, I have to put it with the sign that b is. So 15 has to be positive, and 4 has to be negative. Now I'm going to bring this 12 back to the denominators, okay? And I can simplify both. 15 over 12 simplifies to 5 over... Let's see, 3 goes into both, 5 over 4. 4 over 12 simplifies to 1 over 3. Then I'm going to slide. 4 goes to the front, so it's 4c plus 5. And then 3 goes to the front, 3c minus 1. And there you go. Okay, so we're just going to keep practicing this and get used to the skill. So just bear with me here if you want to keep watching. All right, number 1, slip the 4 to the 5. So 4 times 5 is 20. X squared minus 19x minus 20. Then I'm going to break it up into 2 binomials. So since c is negative, one's positive, one's negative. What multiplies to get 20 but subtracts to get 19, and the two numbers that come to mind are 20 and 1. Since 20 is the bigger number, 20 has to go with the sign that b is, so 20 goes with the negative and 1 goes with the positive. Then I'm going to bring this 4 back and see where I can simplify. Now 1 over 4 does not simplify, but it stays 1 over 4. 20 over 4 simplifies to just 5. So on this one, I can slide the 4 to the front. So it's 4x plus 1. And then there's nothing to slide on this one because it's just x minus 5. Number 2, I'm going to slip the 6 to the 2. So k squared plus 7k. 6 times 2 is 12. So 6 times 2 is 12, so plus 12. Then I'm going to break it up into 2 binomials. So then c is positive. That means they're both going to be the same. And b tells me that they're both going to be positive. So then what multiplies to get 12 but adds to get 7 is 4 and 3. It doesn't matter where I put 4 and 3 because they're both positive. So then I'm going to bring the 6 back and see if I can simplify. 4 over 6 simplifies to 2 over 3. And 3 over 6 simplifies to 1/2. Now I'm going to slide. The 3 slides to the front, so 3k plus 2. And then 2 slides to the front, 2k plus 1. And it is really important that you simplify if needed, okay? Otherwise, you don't end up with a simplified factor. Number 3, I'm going to slip the 8 to the 3, so I have y squared minus 10y. 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. So then I'm going to break it up into 2 binomials. So since c is negative, that means one's positive, one's negative. What multiplies to get 24 but subtracts to get 10? And the two numbers that come up are 12 and 2. Since 12 is bigger, 12 has to go with the sign of b, so 12 is going to go with the negative, 2 goes with the positive. I have to bring this 8 back and see if I can simplify. 2 over 8 simplifies to 1 over 4. 12 over 8 simplifies to 3 over 2. So then I slide. I'm going to slide the 4 to the front, so I have 4y plus 1. And then slide 2 to the front, 2y minus 3. Number 4, I'm going to slip the 3 to the end, so w squared minus w, negative 10 times 3 is negative 30. I'm going to break it up into two binomials. So then, since c is negative, one's positive, one's negative, what multiplies to get 30 but subtracts to get 1? And the two numbers that come up are 6 and 5. Since 6 is bigger, it's going to go with the sign of what b is. So 6 goes with the negative and 5 goes with the positive. I have to bring this 3 back. So see where it simplifies. 5 and 3 do not simplify. 6 over 3 simplifies to 2. So I'm going to slide 3 to the front here, so I have 3w plus 5. But I don't have anything to slide here, so it's just w minus 2. I'm going to slip 10 to the 2, so p squared minus p, 10 times negative 2 is negative 20. I'm going to break it up into two binomials. So then since c is negative, one's positive, one's negative. What multiplies to get 20 but subtracts to get 1, the two numbers that come up are 5 and 4. Since 5 is bigger, 5 has to go with the sign of b, so it's going to be negative 5 and positive 4. And then I have to slide or bring the 10 back, so 10 goes in the denominator, and simplify where I can. 4 over 10 simplifies to 2 over 5. 5 over 10 simplifies to 1/2. So now that I slide, I'm going to slide the 5 to the front, so 5p plus 2. And then I'm going to slide 2 to the front, 2p minus 1. There you go. Number 6, I'm going to slip the 9 to the 2, so x squared minus 3x, 9 times negative 2 is negative 18. I'm going to break it up into two binomials. Since c is negative, one's positive, one's negative. And what multiplies to get 18 but subtracts to get 3, the two numbers that come up are 6 and 3. Since 6 is bigger, it has to go with the sign of b. So 6 has to go with the negative and 3 has to go with the positive. I still have to bring this 9 back. 3 over 9 simplifies to 1/3. 6 over 9 simplifies to 2/3. Then I'm going to slide my denominators. Slide 3 to the front, so 3x plus 1. And then slide 3 to the front here, so it's 3x minus 2. Okay, 3 more of these. I'm going to slip the 4 to the 1, so a squared minus 4a, 4 times 1 is positive 4. I'm going to break it up into two binomials. So since c is positive, they're both going to be the same. b tells me that they're both going to be negative. What multiplies to get 4 but adds to get 4? And the two numbers that do are 2 and 2. It doesn't matter where I put the 2's because they are the same sign. Then I'm going to bring this 4 back, so 4 goes in the denominator. 2 over 4 simplifies to 1/2. 2 over 4 simplifies to 1/2, so I'm going to slide these denominators to the front, 2a minus 1 and 2a minus 1. Now, I want to point out something on this one. Since they are both the same binomial, binomial, you can see it written as 2a minus 1 squared, okay? Number 8, I'm going to slip the 2 to the 9, so x squared plus 17x minus 18. I'm going to break it up into two binomials. So since c is negative, that means one's positive, one's negative. What multiplies to get 18 but subtracts to get 17? And the two numbers that come up are 18 and 1. Since 18 is bigger, I have to take the sign of b. So 18 has to be positive and 1 has to be negative. I'm going to bring this 2 back to the denominator. 18 over 2 simplifies to 9. So there's nothing to slide on this one. It's just x plus 9. 1 over 2 doesn't simplify, but I'm going to slide the 2 to the front, so 2x minus 1. Last one on these. I'm going to slip the 6 to the 12, so x squared plus x, negative 12. Negative 12 times 6 is negative 72. Break it up into two binomials. So since c is negative, one's positive, one's negative. What multiplies to get 72 but subtracts to get 1, and the two numbers that come up are 9 and 8. And since 9 is bigger, I have to take the sign of b, so 9 has to be positive, 8 has to be negative. I'm going to bring this 6 back as a denominator. 9 over 6 simplifies to 3 over 2, and 8 over 6 simplifies to 4 over 3. Then I'm going to slide the denominator to the front, so this is 2x plus 3. And then I'm going to slide the denominator to the front, so this is 3x minus 4. And there you go. These last three are when there is a GCF and then a basic trinomial where I do slip and slide. So number 10, the GCF of 20, 52, and 24, she did not make those easy, are 4. So if I split this up, 20n squared divided by 4 is 5n squared. Negative 52n divided by 4 is negative 13n. Oops. And negative 24 divided by 4 is negative 6. Whew, so a little bit cleaner. Now that I've taken care of the GCF, it makes it a little easier on the math part of it because it would be a little complicated with bigger numbers. So I'm going to bring down this GCF and break this up into a new trinomial because I have to slip the 5 to the 6. So n squared minus 13n, 5 times 6 is negative 30. Bring my 4 down, and I'm going to break this up into two binomials. So since c is negative, that means one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. And then what multiplies to get 30 but subtracts to get 13, and the two numbers that come up are 15 and 2. Since 15 is bigger, 15 has to go with the sign that b is, so 15 has to be negative, 2 has to be positive. But don't forget, we need to bring this 5 back as a denominator. So after all that, we're still not done. 2 over 5 does not simplify, so I'm going to slide that 5 into the front plus 2. 15 over 5 simplifies to 3. So since there's no denominator to slide, it's just n minus 3. Okay, number 11, the GCF of these is 5. Okay, so let's see what's left. 10k squared divided by 5 is 2k squared. 75k divided by 5 is 15k. And 35 divided by 5 is 7. Then it becomes a slip and slide because this 2 is out in front. So I'm going to take that 2 and slip it to the 7. I'm going to bring down this 5. So I have k squared plus 15k. And 7 times 2 is positive 14. I'm still going to have this GCF out in front, but now I'm going to break this up into two binomials. So since c is positive, that means they're both going to be the same, which means they're both going to be positive. Okay. What multiplies to get 14 but adds to get 15, and the two numbers that come up are 14 and 1. It doesn't matter where I put the 14 and 1 because they're both positives. I still have to bring back this 2 as a denominator. So for the first binomial, 14 over 2 simplifies to 7. So there's no denominator to slide back to the front, so it's just k plus 7. 1 over 2 does not simplify, so I have to slide that 2 back in front of k, and then plus 1. Okay, last one. The GCF of 12, 2, and 2 is 2. If I clean this up, 12x squared divided by 2 is 6x squared. 2x divided by 2 is x. And negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. So then it's a slip and slide because the 6 is out in front. So I'm going to slip the 6 to the 1. And I have x squared plus x. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. So I'm bringing this GCF down. Now I can break this up into two binomials where I have x and x. C is negative, so that means one's going to be positive. Oops, one's going to be negative. What multiplies to get 6 but subtracts to get 1, the two numbers that come up are 3 and 2. Since 3 is bigger, it has to take the sign of b. So 3 has to go with positive and 2 has to go with negative. I still have this 6 I need to bring down to the denominator. So 3 over 6 simplifies to 1 over 2. So we're going to slide that 2 to the front. So it's 2x plus 1. 2 over 6 simplifies to 1 over 3. And so 3 is the denominator I'm going to slide to the front. So it's 3x minus 1.